and welcome to You Write, the podcast where creativity meets community.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Rachel.
Each week on You Write, we challenge our listeners to write a story in just 30 minutes using 3 of 5 randomly generated words.
It's a fun and fast-paced exercise to spark your imagination and get those creative juices flowing.
We'll read your submissions, offer feedback, and discuss the unique twists and turns of each story.
Whether you're an aspiring author or just love a good tale, You Write is your place to explore the endless possibilities of storytelling.
So grab a stick, find a good piece of sand somewhere, and let's dive into this week's stories.
Excellent. And remember, the only limit is your imagination. Let's see what you got.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm a bit tired.
Yeah. It's been a day.
It's been a day.
It's been a week. And did you have Monday off?
I did.
Yeah,
but
me
I
too.
think that's why I'm suffering right now.
Why is that? Why is it always the short week is...
It's kind of like if you take too long of a nap, then you wake up feeling like you got ran over.
By a train. Yeah. And not a small train.
No. Big
A
one.
big old train.
A big old train.
Yeah, as a big old train.
Right. So I think that for some reason, and it's kind of like, whenever you stop, like if you have an injury and then you sit down for a long time, then it starts to hurt. Whereas if you just kept going, you wouldn't feel it.
You just get stiff.
Yeah. So I feel like life is very painful. And in order to not feel it, we have to keep going.
Okay.
And if we stop for a second, then we suffer.
Interesting you say suffer.
I know.
You did that on purpose.
I did.
You did.
I really did.
So,
how are you?
Oh, I'm good. I am so good. I'm also very tired.
Okay.
Yeah, it was quite a day.
Was it?
Quite a week.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's busy.
Okay.
It's been real busy at work, at home.
Yes.
The puppy, he's just so demanding.
Yeah, puppies.
He's not even really he's a dog.
Yeah, he's a dog.
How's Chewy?
Chewy is fantastic. She actually got in a fight last night.
No.
Yep, I had just settled into bed. No, never mind. I was sitting on the couch and I suddenly heard this loud meowing. And of course, knowing that Chewy was out there, because Wiki, he can handle himself.
Oh, yeah.
He's like almost the size of a jungle kitty.
Isn't he a jungle kitty?
He is.
Yeah, he's a jungle kitty.
Is. He can handle himself, but Chewy, on the other hand, is a kitten. And so I was like, oh no. So I ran outside and then Chewy comes sprinting in. And I was like, dang, what happened, girl? She's okay.
She won, though.
I'm not sure if she won or if she was given a reprieve due to my entrance onto the scene. Right.
I hope Chewy's doing okay.
Thank you.
Not too distraught and traumatized.
No, she immediately wanted to go back outside and fight.
that sounds like Chewy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Chewy. That's Chewy for you.
You monster.
She's a monster kitty.
Okay. So remind us what last week's prompt was.
Okay. So last week's prompt was a tune, which this is going to sound really dumb, but whenever I first found this tune, I did not even think of Music Box.
No? Yeah, I think I have to apologize because I labeled it that, and I feel like I probably forced people to think that this is a music box.
Well, I mean, it's weird because I was just listening to it for the first time, and I was like, oh, it's just like a haunting tune. But then after I saw the label, I listened to it again, and I was like, this is definitely a music box.
Okay.
And then I felt like an idiot.
No, don't say that
and
about yourself.
And I hate myself.
Don't say that. Don't say that about yourself.
Okay. Anyway, so, yeah, it was that. Then we had our words.
Yes, which were result, patrol, delay, chemistry, and aforementioned suffer.
Right. So we actually got 10 stories this week.
10 stories.
Which is a record for this iteration of this podcast.
That is correct. This is the best turnout we have had to date.
Yes, and very, very exciting.
Very exciting.
We are so excited.
Some good stories, right?
Really good stories.
Really good stories.
I love them.
Who's the chosen one this week?
The chosen one this week is RichiePozier.
Richie. All right.
Yeah.
So we will be reading The Cut by RichiePozier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you close that damn music box? That thing creeps me out. It's like a ballerina acid trip. I don't need that black swan shit going through my head when I'm trying to sleep tonight, Levi said as he stripped off his shirt and placed it on the dust-covered vanity they had carried through the living room and over to the kitchen sink. He ran his hand over his tight black curls and stretched a section of hair out between his fingers so he could see it in the vanity mirror. You coming or what, Simon? You didn't fall in, did you? Simon came into the kitchen carrying a bucket of water that he emptied into the sink. Sorry, Levi. I was making sure Wanda was all set for the night. He fished a lighter from his pocket that he used to light the oil lamp on the vanity in front of Levi. The flame flickered and danced in the mirror as the storm raged outside. Simon, the music box, please. I swear a ballerina is going to come twirling out of that bathroom with blood running out of her eyes, like calling Bloody Mary in the mirror or something. The music box snapped shut. The music was choked off as the roar of the wind outside rose to replace it. Sorry, I guess it was just nice to hear music again. Calms my nerves. Simon turned to Levi. I've never done this before, Levi. Lightning flashed outside and lit the room in pale blue for an instant before plunging them back into darkness. Rain spattered the kitchen skylight and ran down the glass in torrents. Never done what before? Levi asked as he looked himself over in the mirror. The apocalypse? Or shaving a black man's head? He laughed. There's a first time for everything. You'll do fine, Simon. I trust you. Simon hitched in a breath to calm himself. You sure you want me to? I mean, we could wait until Patrick gets back from patrol. The storm might delay them a bit, but they should be back soon. I'm sure, Levi answered. Simon eyed the double-edged safety razor Levi had placed on the counter by the sink. Just go slow, and go with the grain if you can, Levi said as he relaxed into the dining chair they had scrounged up from the garage. Simon started to lather a bar of soap in his hand and worked it into Levi's scalp. When are you going to let Wanda know you like her? You know, more than a friend. She's waiting. You know she didn't go on patrol with the others so she could spend time with you, right? Levi said as he stared at Simon's face in the mirror. The razor started scritching its way along his scalp in short strokes. Simon let out a deep sigh. I don't know if that's such a good idea. I mean, with things how they are and all, those things out there. He rinsed the razor in the sink and started another pass, turning it over in his hand as one edge filled with soap and hair. Well, not that it matters, but I'm not going to tell anyone. Even if I did, I don't think anyone would care. That's a you problem if you want to suffer all alone. You don't have to. Some of us ain't got the choice. Levi turned his head to let Simon see his right ear in the lamplight. You two got chemistry. You're like magnets that can't hardly be apart for more than an hour. Simon raised the razor again before cradling Levi's forehead in his palm and started shaving the back of his head. The soothing scratch of the razor bounced and vibrated up the handle and through his fingers as he felt the hairs pop under the blade. The storm might not let up for a while. We need to figure out the meet-up with the scouting group. We don't want to be stuck in here for too long. We need to keep moving, Simon said as he grabbed a towel and began wiping the remaining soap off of Levi's freshly shaven head. I don't think I nicked you, Levi. It's kind of hard to tell because... What? He said as he ran fingers over the crown of his head. Because I'm black? Is that it? He chuckled at the mirror and Simon's startled face. No, because it's dark in here, you asshole, Simon said. You did good. There's nothing for anyone to drag me around by anyway. Levi stood and brushed the hair off his shoulders and chest. I'm going to tell you what I'd do if I were you. He pulled his shirt over his head and turned to Simon. We all saw what happened to Samson when everything went to hell. I think you ought to put a fresh blade in that razor and go upstairs to Wanda and offer to take turns shaving each other's heads while we got the downtime. It needs to be done so nothing can grab you by it when we start moving again. And if you play your cards right, you might just be surprised at the results. Everything might start to look pretty good. Simon swallowed hard and looked out the window as he dried off the razor blade and pulled the drain plug. You think that's what I should do, Levi? All I'm talking about is a haircut. Anything else is on you. Go. She's still awake. We never know how much time we have. Don't waste it. Levi clapped Simon on the shoulder and grabbed the bottle of vodka and a glass from the kitchen table. I'll yell if anything happens down here. I'll be ready in the living room if you need me. Levi paused. Don't need me, okay? He walked back through the kitchen and vanished through the doorway into the lamplit living room. Simon heard the sofa springs creak as Levi sat down. The storm raged outside, and the room flashed again. Simon gathered the razor and soap in the bucket and went upstairs, grabbing a clean towel from the table as he passed.
Excellent.
That's a good one.
That's a very good one.
That's a really good one. I keep coming around to it. The dialogue that Richie's writing.
It's excellent dialogue.
It is. It really is.
It's very natural sounding.
Yes. And I think this story in particular, we don't necessarily need these dialogue tags to know who's speaking because they each have a very specific word choice and syntax that they use and just the way that they talk. So.
Yeah, for sure. I have to admit that at the beginning of the story, I thought that Wanda was a fish. Yeah.
Why?
I feel like there's a movie called A Fish Named Wanda. There is a movie called that, I'm pretty sure. And Wanda is my mom's name, by the way. So, Richie, I love your name choice there. But there's a movie called A Fish Named Wanda, and he says at the very beginning, he has a bucket of water that he emptied into the sink. And he's like, sorry, Levi, I was making sure Wanda was all set for the night. I thought he was putting Wanda into the sink. Like he had stopped up the sink and was putting the fish in there because he didn't want to leave her in a bucket overnight or something.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then the next line says, he fished a lighter from his pocket. So I was like, LOL, nice play on words, Richie. But then there came the part where it was like, Simon has feelings for Wanda. So either Wanda is not really a fish or Simon is also a fish.
Or it's a Shape of Water type of. Did you ever see Shape of Water?
No.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Just know that that's kind of the premise of Shape of Water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, fish and people and fish. It's fun.
Okay. So it
spoilers for Shape of Water, I guess.
Well, not really, because I still have no idea.
I've seen it, and I also don't really have any idea.
Okay, so no spoilers here.
Yeah.
But either Simon is also a fish. This is all a bunch of fish. Or there's an interspecies relationship going on. It's possible. Although I can't imagine having to like shave a fish's head. That'd be weird.
Oh my gosh. How long have we been recording? It's we're 15 minutes in and we're already off the rails.
Oh wow. Okay, well, I'm just saying and I almost think, Richie, that if you did not mean for Wanda to be a fish, I think that your next line about fishing a lighter from the pocket was a Freudian slip.
Okay. I have
Maybe
nothing
that's
to add
the
to
wrong
that.
term. Because Freudian means it's something that, well, no, Freudian slip is like something that's on your subconscious that just comes out.
It doesn't
not
have
necessarily
to be
something that you desire.
Anyways, Richie, I at no point ever thought that Wanda was a fish.
That's weird.
What?
I'm pretty sure that most of the audience is going to agree with me.
I am not going to argue that. So, Richie, like I said, the dialogue that you have and the way you're able to characterize and move us through the plot beats that you want to get us is all inside the dialogue. So we learn that for some reason, everybody needs to shave their head so that they can't be grabbed, and dragged off. Is that what should I shave my head?
Probably.
Because now I'm suddenly realizing that I just have a head full of just perfect handles.
Yeah, handles.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, if everybody's been getting grabbed and dragged away, I'd be like, by their hair, I'd be like, I'm going to shave my head.
Well, yeah. And we don't get any evidence of what it is that's out there, only that there is something out there. So I guess we can assume this might be a post-apocalyptic story of some kind or zombies.
Seems like zombies to me.
Zombies, you think?
Yeah.
The hair, though. I don't know. Maybe it's like giant lice monsters.
That go for the hair.
I don't know. I was like, what's something that would want hair?
Yeah.
Either way, I don't know. I don't think it's really important. I think the important part is these characters and the relationship.
And their interactions.
The interaction, the will they, won't they between Simon and Wanda.
Yeah.
And Levi seems like a fun character.
Yeah, he's cool. He's chill. I really like the description where it says that he felt the hairs pop under the blade. I love that description.
Yeah, like the way it drags.
Yeah.
Over the scratch.
Right.
That was good. I noticed that the first time I read through it, and I was like, that's a really, what's the right way to say that?
Vivid description.
Yeah, and I guess even like onomatopoeia.
Mm-hmm. Scratch. Yeah, for sure. It reminded me of those razor commercials where it shows the huge animated razor going over the huge animated hair follicles. Yeah. You know, and you see this huge, just like pillar of
this black skyscraper sticking out of this flesh-colored earth.
Yes, and it just like pops off. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, I totally see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I like it was a safety razor. Mm-hmm. Like there's so much specificity around the razor and the act of shaving his head.
There was. Makes me think that Richie, you may have some experience with that. Maybe
where you're from, there are giant lice monsters running around threatening to grab people by their hair and drag them away.
And so you have to shave your head all the time.
Just the interaction between Simon and Levi. I don't think I nicked you, Levi. It's kind of hard to tell because what? Because I'm black? No. It's because it's dark in here, asshole. I don't know why. I really like that line.
I like that too. And I felt like you read it really well.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, with lots of feeling.
But yeah, Richie, ultimately just great dialogue.
Yeah.
A great way to get us into the plot of this story and into the heads of your characters. I think it's a great show, don't tell.
Yeah, but honestly, I do wonder about Wanda more than just the fish thing. Like, is she somehow disabled? Why does she have to be taken care of?
I don't think that she does. It mentioned at one point that she didn't go out on patrol.
I know, but at the beginning, he's like, I want to make sure Wanda is set for the night. Like he's taking care of her in some way. And that makes me think that Wanda needs, I don't know, more sleep than the others or is bedridden.
Could just be that he doesn't want to say, I want to go, check in on Wanda. He doesn't want to say it that way. So he'll say it, I want to make sure that she's set for the night,
Right.
Just maybe to let us know, like early on, that he's got a place reserved in his head for Wanda, that he's always thinking about her.
True, but what is he doing with a bucket of water? He came into the kitchen carrying a bucket of water that he emptied into the sink. Sorry, Levi, I was making sure Wanda was all set for the night. So did he just is he dumping her bedpan? Did he just give her like a kind of a sponge bath? What's going on with Wanda?
For that, I don't know. Like what was the bucket of water for? I don't know.
So now you can understand why I was thinking she's a fish.
Or maybe amphibious. Has to change her water every so often.
Maybe she's a mermaid.
Maybe this is just Shape of Water.
I guess. I've never seen it, but maybe so. Maybe she's a mermaid and she's got to have like a pool of fresh water at all times.
And the music box. Like, do you think there's a significance to the music box? Or maybe it's because this is potentially a post-apocalyptic place and this might be the only means of listening to music that isn't sung by anybody.
Possibly.
That's about all I could assign to it.
Or maybe somehow that music box puts Wanda to sleep every night.
Or it may be Wanda's and it's soothing.
Maybe.
Yeah, it could be, just like you said, it be just for Wanda. It's just hers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just going to assume that Wanda is amphibious.
A safe assumption?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Unclear.
Maybe it's a dangerous assumption.
All right. What else do you have?
That's kind of all I've got about that. But I just really do want to know what's going on. What kind of apocalypse is this? Levi has a great attitude.
Yes. I immediately fell in love with Levi as a character. Yeah. And
Levi,
just in general. Love him.
You love him?
I love him.
Yes. Levi is very positive, very upbeat. He seems unfazed by whatever's going on.
And also, Simon was a very relatable character in that he has a hard time working up that courage to go and just talk to Wanda.
Right.
And do whatever it is that they're going to do.
Which we don't know what
We don't know what that is.
We have no idea. But he is helping her out in some way, that's for sure.
Yeah, I feel like we're being led to an encounter with Simon and Wanda in the sequel, Richie?
Sequel? Did you do that on purpose?
I did not, and boo. I do not approve of that.
Okay, well,
all right. Well, who's next up today?
Next up, we have got Anonymous by Walker by Faith. Okay, this one was very interesting. This one was about the anonymous meeting.
Yeah.
The anonymous meetings.
Whatever anonymity they're protecting, we have no idea.
No. Although Walker by Faith did tell us in his comments.
Yeah, in the comments. Yeah, so we all do know that now it's Gossipers Anonymous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just going to run through like some of my notes as far as me trying to decipher what this was.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, before we even get to those, did you assign any significance to the one speaking in the meeting is Rachel?
I felt attacked. I actually felt attacked by that.
Would you describe yourself as a gossiper?
Not really. That's not one of my outstanding characteristics. I mean, I occasionally gossip, but I usually just do it for fun.
Well, and I would say you don't necessarily gossip. You'll just tell them straight to their face.
Right.
Like you would rather tell them personally than anyone else.
Yeah, that's true. Because I do really like confrontation.
Yes, you are highly confrontational.
It's true. And not in a bad way, listeners. In a good way. At least I think it's
in a constructive way.
Yeah, sure.
Generally.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
I'm more likely to confront someone than to talk shit behind their back. But I still feel attacked, Walker.
Anyway, so I was immediately thinking, the program, the meetings. Okay, it's AA. Mm-hmm. It's an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Bad Breath Bob.
Yeah.
Kind of made me think like, well, we still could be an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. I don't know that bad breath is necessarily a symptom of somebody with alcoholism, especially the way that they describe. Just what was it? Putrid,
and like a clogged toilet.
A clogged toilet, yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. That is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
For Bob.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know what though? I think we've all been there. I mean.
Yeah.
I could really relate to this. I'm like, I have had a guy with toilet breath whispering in my face many times.
And the way that Walker by Faith describes it, the whisper makes it worse than if they were just actually talking.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's so true. It's
nasty.
So true. Yep. It's not an enjoyable experience at all.
The line, as if anyone cares about the Applebee's hostess opinion on neurology.
Mm-hmm.
That was brutal.
That made me laugh.
That did.
That was a really funny line.
That was a great line.
Mm-hmm.
And it was direct. I guess in this case, Rachel is the Applebee's hostess, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that was a great line.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
In that, the line a couple of lines before that was what really got my attention. And it's where it says, this one is high yellow.
What is that?
High yellow means light skinned. And I know that term only because of the song Young Woman's Blues. And I can't remember the name of the singer, but it's from like the 30s or 40s.
High yellow?
Yeah. She's like, I ain't no high yellow. I'm a tequila brown.
Excellent.
I could go on, but I won't.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, it's like light skinned as opposed to dark skinned.
I had never heard that before. High yellow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
Yeah, I found that very interesting. And it kind of, I don't know, it might have indicated something a bit about the protagonist.
Or at least our point of view character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because high yellow is almost like, and he even kind of indicates that further when he says, this one is high yellow and likes to use big words to make herself sound intelligent and important. Because high yellow, it's almost like a long time ago, it was like a status symbol to be more light skinned.
Really?
Yes. And so it's like she thinks she's awesome. She's uppity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because she's like, I'm light skinned and I use big words.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you still feeling attacked?
A little bit.
Okay.
Little bit. But I still really appreciate that because I love words. I love phrases and linguistic references to different, time frames, little things.
Yeah,
little details?
Is high yellow, is that an American culture thing, or is that
I believe so, yes.
Interesting.
As far as I know. As far as I know, it's like a prohibition era term. Not that it's related to prohibition, but I'm just saying that's like the kind of time that I think of whenever I hear that term.
Yeah, looky here. See, this one over here is high yellow. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I'm sorry to everybody who had to listen to that.
You're welcome, everybody.
Each person with a look of hunger on their face. Mm-hmm. And that's when I started to think, because that's when they answered their phone call. Mm-hmm. Or not answered it, but they got the phone call and they took out the phone and turned it off. Yes. I was like, okay, so the meeting is about social media addiction.
Yeah, I think I might have thought social media addiction when I first read it.
It wasn't until it was before Walker by Faith told us that it was Gossipers Anonymous. Mm-hmm. But when I went back and I was looking at it, I realized like, well, that's not social media. Mm-hmm. That was a phone call. Mm-hmm. And that's whenever, like, I actually did kind of arrive at gossip before Walker by Faith said that, just because it was a phone call.
Oh, wow.
And I knew that whatever it was that they were all there for, it had happened, whatever this thing was in the meeting. And so I started to kind of go back with a fine-tooth comb and figure out what it could have been. And it was the phone call, I think, that clued me in.
Okay.
Yeah. Wasn't anything Facebook or the tiki-takis or...
Right. I like the fact that Walker by Faith has men in the meeting as well.
Yes.
Rather than being, a stereotypical like women gossip. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's an old guy.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Oh man, old men are it's like Stephen King uses this all the time. He calls it the bullshit table. It's just men that sit around and drink coffee in the morning, reading the newspaper and just bullshitting.
Yes.
Yeah. So, men are just as bad about gossip as anyone else. So, yeah, they don't get a free pass here. And I'm glad to see that Walker by Faith didn't give them a pass.
Good job, Walker.
Good job, Walker. I also begin to think that maybe this was an ADHD support group. Because there was a as if anyone cares, my mind drifts away. Mm-hmm. And just in general, like the way that the person that was leading the meeting kind of forgot who was speaking at the time. Like their mind just, who's next? And so, I kind of thought maybe ADHD, but...
okay. I honestly didn't have enough time to come up with a bunch of theories because Walker by Faith let the cat out of the bag so quickly on this. Yeah.
I managed to get to it before that whole discussion went down.
I did too, but just barely.
What else you got for it?
Let me see here. I have some philosophical thoughts, which are kind of unrelated to this podcast.
Would you care to share them here today?
Sure. I think that at times, I think that gossip can definitely be a bad and malicious thing, but I think that at times it actually serves a purpose in society.
How so?
Because it's like the busybody, like the person who has everybody's news. It's a way of staying connected socially in some ways.
Okay.
Because it's like, I feel like we have, as a society, become very disconnected to each other, and to the point where we're like, I don't care what they're doing, whatever, like I don't care what somebody else is doing. It's like the opposite extreme.
Okay.
So I feel like a good dose of gossip, if you want to call it that, or chisme.
Chisme.
Yes. Is not necessarily a bad thing, but can in fact. The fact that people care about what other people are doing to a certain extent, I think is a good thing. And I feel this way because I suffer from the opposite of just being like, because that's kind of the way that I was raised, of being like, I don't care. I'm doing my own thing. I don't care what they're doing.
Yeah, a little apathetic towards other people.
Yeah.
And whatever they're doing.
Yeah. It's like, I don't care. I'm taking care of me. I'm taking care of number one.
Yeah.
basically. And if they want to act stupid or whatever, that's not my problem. And I feel like it could be a bit extreme. And I've found that people who tend to talk about other people and their business also tend to be the ones that help or reach out, when someone's in need or something.
Yeah, okay.
Because they're somehow invested in that person, invested in their community.
Yeah.
So I think that we need a balance, of course, but I think that just to a certain extent, gossip is not necessarily bad.
Yeah, I think to just put a blanket over the whole thing and say all gossip is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a generalization, and that's not really fair.
Right.
I would say the line in the sand that I would draw is so long as it's done from a place of empathy
mm-hmm.
for the person that is being discussed,
mm-hmm.
then it's probably okay. And
mm-hmm.
that you're taking their feelings into consideration.
Right.
And it's not just about you trying, I say you, looking at Rachel. It's not about you. No, it's not about.
Why is everyone making this so personal?
Sorry. It's not about whoever is doing the gossip being the one recognized as sharing all this information. I feel like that's a lot about what a gossiper kind of gets off on, just oversharing, like sharing information that was not theirs to share in the first place.
Right.
Yeah, that's the one thing.
Or just doing it because it makes them feel better about themselves.
Right. Yeah. Because they're discussing they're airing someone else's dirty laundry rather than their own, and therefore makes them feel good. Well, our next story is from a new submitter.
Oh, Successful Read 6361.
Yes. So this is titled Melody.
Yes.
And do you just want to read it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little short, so.
All right. It's very short, so here I go. Okay. Almost every day I wake up with a song in my head. Sometimes it's only one line of a lyric that plays over and over on repeat. The only way to delay madness is to listen to the song in its entirety, or suffer in a continuous loop of repeating words. Sometimes it's a gentle whisper of a melody that floats in and out of my mind all day. Today, it's a melody. A song I heard a long time ago from a tiny pink music box, decorated with scenes of dancing ballerinas frozen in a long-forgotten dance. My excitement builds with every turn of the key. A metal comb plucks a song from tiny pins as a beautiful ballerina, forever fixed in her dancing pose, spins and spins. The melody is a soothing sound that washes over me as I listen. I spin, mirroring the ballerina best I can. I'm all consumed, creating a ballet all my own, until the last note plays. I smile as I'm brought back to the present moment. Joy bubbles up, a result of a long-forgotten memory, and I look forward to tomorrow's song.
It's so pretty.
It is.
And haunting.
And haunting, but I really like the kind of hopefulness that it ends on.
Yeah. And on just to get the technicality side, I really like the use of present tense.
Yeah.
It makes use of it in a lot of cases.
True.
Sometimes it's a gentle whisper of a melody that floats in and out of my mind. Today, it's a melody.
Yeah.
Us moving kind of back into a memory and immediately back to present. I thought the use of present tense was well exploited here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I really like it. It's like you're savoring the moment together with the writer.
Yeah. Yeah, and just a beautiful description, and the way that we move away from the music box and to the point of view character. It's very seamless. The way forever fixed in her dancing pose, spins and spins. The melody, a soothing sound that washes over me as I listen. I spin, mirroring the ballerina. Just very. It almost seems like those two sentences are like mirror images of each other. Yeah. So it's like the ballerina spins and spins as I listen. I spin, and like it just the way it flows one into the next. It kind of reads poetically. Yeah,
it does. It really does. I like because I think that a lot of people's take on this tune was that it was kind of creepy and kind of dark. But I really like this kind of positive, optimistic take on it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Even if it begins the only way to delay madness.
Mm-hmm. But I really related to that because that is me. Exactly. Like I will have some music in my head. And if I do not, if I don't like just sing it, then I will kind of go crazy all day, just like, going over this one line in my head, like over and over and over. And it's the same way with like matching notes. Like there will be a note in my head and I'll be like,
that sounds horrifying.
It can be.
It sounds
and it's like having to like do that exact tone or else I'm going to just lose it. So I really relate to this. It can be painful. It can be a painful situation.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, just a beautiful story, a great use of the music box, very core piece to this story. And actually, due to its brevity, I actually did go through, I was like, where did they use the words? Like they never jumped out at me. So that was, but they did use 3 of the words. And man, it was
in a very seamless way.
Very seamless.
Yes.
Great story. Well, excellent. Thank you for your submission, Successful Read 6361. Keep them coming.
Keep them coming. Well, it looks like next we're on to Nathaniel McLean, Crash Bang.
Is that the title? It's parenthetical at the very start. So maybe it's untitled.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
It is a continuation, so maybe we share the title run from the previous entry.
Yes. Okay, so I loved the referencing all of last week's stories in the first paragraph. That
was legitimately a great fever dream.
Yeah.
Because it makes no sense.
Right. It was hilarious.
It was.
I loved it. I loved looking through and like looking for my own story referenced. And I do love the way that you referenced my story. As the woman standing over the man.
Yep.
Doused in urine. I love that.
That is such
And he was sobbing. I just love it. Wow. Beautiful.
Oh. Nathaniel McLean, that's a hell of an intro.
Really, really was. Personally, it made me feel heard. It made me feel seen.
Excellent.
Like in Avatar.
Wait, the cartoon?
Is it a cartoon?
Or the blue people?
The blue people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Blue people Avatar.
Yes.
Yes, I love the intro, Nathaniel. This is a great way to capture the fact that he is starving, maybe having a fever dream, and to loop us all in and back to the previous week. Very creative. Very creative.
Excellent.
And then we get some more context as far as what's going on. It sounds like the runners are the disease. That was the reason he had to cut off Anne's hand in the last entry.
You think the runners are the disease?
Well, they are the result of this
like
disease.
The zombies, right?
Yeah, but they're so probably just zombies.
That's kind of what I was getting. But
that makes sense. Yeah, but in this story, they're referred to as runners. Which. Yeah, running zombies. That sounds pretty horrifying.
It does, because zombies usually just walk.
Like shamble.
Yeah, they shamble. That's exactly what they do.
Yeah.
And they stagger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a video game. Well, I guess there's also a TV show now called The Last of Us. They don't shamble. They run. It's horrifying.
Oh my God.
Especially in a video game context. Ugh, it's brutal. But
that would be very scary.
Yes. It's a legitimately very scary game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
It is awesome. Okay. It's a great game.
Let's play it.
And it's a great show, too. You can check out the show.
Okay.
It's on the Hobos.
Oh, yes.
HBO.
Right.
Yeah.
I have the Hobos.
Okay. This is a devastating end to the story.
Yeah, I mean, it is. But on the other hand, he doesn't have to suffer anymore.
How so?
Well,
he just lost Anne.
I assume he's gonna. Well, yeah, but he's about to either turn into a zombie or kill himself.
He was. Yes, he was bitten by Anne.
Yeah.
So yeah, just tragic.
Yes.
Through and through.
Yes. Well, but again, I think that him getting bitten makes it a little bit better.
In the suffering.
Yeah.
Very bleak.
Well, I mean, it's either that or have to live with the guilt of having strangled Anne.
Oh, right, because she was turning.
Because she's
That's
a
right.
zombie.
Okay.
And he doesn't want to shoot her, or he doesn't want to axe her. So instead he strangles her from behind.
Right.
And that's why he got bitten.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again, devastating.
Yeah.
Because he's just beside himself the whole time he has to do this.
Right.
It's a very powerful scene.
It is. And I do like the detail about how it felt to strangle her, because I feel like you really do justice to the fact that it is not easy to strangle a person.
Yeah. And just the physicality required behind it. So he squeezed so hard his abs hurt, so hard he can no longer stand. They slam against the wall and squirming, waving around. I feel like the detail in these moments of action that Nathaniel McClain is putting down are very striking, very vivid. You get the detail of the backpack, which contains the music box, which comes up. Yeah. So you're able to give us some context into the setting and the characters without making us feel like you're giving us context. You're just providing a good action scene. And I just thought that was very well done.
I concur.
That scene right there.
Yeah. There was a lot of really good detail there, for sure. Yeah.
I could really see it. I could really picture it.
I could too.
Yeah. It's very vivid.
I could feel it. It's fantastic.
It was a fantastic story. And I'd be curious if you can continue this somehow, Nathaniel.
Yes.
If you can, that would be interesting, because you've basically given us all the clues that we need to think this is done. Like there's nowhere else to go from here.
Yep. You've already done 2 installments, I believe, right?
Yeah, this is number 2. Yeah.
And so I think a third one would be great, because who knows, maybe John can somehow, I don't know, beat this.
Yeah, come out the other side.
Or maybe it'll just get more devastating.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who knows?
Well, thank you, Nathaniel, for Crash Bang, or entry number 2 to Run, whichever it may be. And I do think that a 3 beat is appropriate here.
I agree.
Give us that 3rd beat.
Please do it.
Yes. All right.
Do it.
Next.
We're up to Untitled by Nick to You.
Nick to You. So this story by Nick to You, this is, I don't want to say interesting. I feel like I always just say interesting, but this is a legitimately interesting story. The music box is an artifact.
A sensitive artifact.
A sensitive artifact. And the opening to this story, sensory hazard sucked, which on a reread now we know that this is essentially a sensory hazard. This artifact, this music box is a sensory hazard. This one at least wasn't too dangerous, but it was still a hassle. This line, at least it isn't some kind of compulsion. I can't do the Macarena for 8 hours straight again. That sounds horrifying. Yeah. The fact that this is the kind of whatever these artifacts are, these sensory hazards, that's a very clever and horrible idea of doing the Macarena for 8 hours straight because of some thing,
I can think of worse things.
There are
worse things.
There are worse things, but just the same, like against your will doing the Macarena.
Macarena.
Yes. We did it. We did the thing.
We did it. We did not plan that, guys.
We did not. Totally off the cuff. And the characters, where is it? Yeah. I'm going to have to go back to the Google Doc. This is not working.
Yeah.
I can't find anything.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. If we're a little disorganized, it's because we're trying a new thing for this and it's not working.
Right.
So we're struggling to find all of our notes.
Best, okay?
So Carson held up a page that said locked. I'm curious, I was curious whenever we started, why are we communicating by holding up notes to each other?
Yeah.
Why can't we just talk?
That's a good question.
But it was made clear towards the end that because everybody has earplugs in or
Right.
something to protect against whatever this artifact was. I thought that was a really good way to add intrigue into the story and to make us wonder, like,
what's going on?
And it worked exactly right. I'm like, why the notes?
Right.
But yeah, then eventually we get Carson took off her earplugs, and then that was the answer. Like, so okay, yeah, everybody had to protect themselves.
Like, oh, yes. It was to me. It was a kind of like a little bit like a combination of Mission Impossible mixed with Hurt Locker. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, kind of like a bomb disposal squad. Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah, and it's clearly dangerous. We don't really know what effect this artifact will have on them if they come into contact with it. But yeah, it was very intriguing.
Yes.
I was definitely engaged throughout.
It was very action laden.
Yes. Yeah, we had quite a bit of action this week in the stories, and this one was no exception.
No.
Also great name, Agents Brave and De Leon.
Yeah.
Agent Dobson, just some really, really great names.
Yeah, those were good names.
Oh, and yes, fucking prick. That character was such a prick. Like through and through. Like by the end of it, I was like, oh my god, yes, they absolutely are.
You.
But I can't even find their name. That's how much I hated them. I just
yeah.
Oh, I think it was Agent. No, it wasn't Carson.
No, it's Whit.
Whit. That's it. Yes. Whit is a prick.
Whit is a prick.
Whit is a prick. And that came through loud and clear.
Yeah.
That was not lost. All the characterization that you put into them and their mannerisms. I especially liked the very end of it. I'll assume you and Carson didn't disturb anything. Yes, sir. Click.
Yeah.
Just hung up on them in the middle of telling them the information that they literally just asked for, and they could only get so far as the word yes.
And they just like, it seems risked their lives to do this mission. And I see no gratitude there.
None gratitude.
None of the gratitudes.
Yeah, great character building. That was very effective. And just the whole scene of them coming through, them looking for the music box. I just really dug the story. Yeah.
It was great.
Okay.
Well, let's move on to another. What a coincidence. So we had two named the same thing.
Yeah. Two stories.
Named Untitled.
Untitled. Yeah.
How interesting, Key Slapper.
How interesting, Key Slapper.
Welcome to our podcast, Key Slapper.
Yeah. Yeah, welcome. This is a new submitter to us this week.
Yes.
And just up front, what did you think of this story?
Okay, so I had a lot of questions about this story. I wanted to know, well, this is to me clearly an apocalypse again.
Yeah, and Key Slapper actually gave us some content warnings at the start.
Yes. See, I don't know if I would have really deduced suicide.
I didn't either.
If it weren't for that, unless it's just, there was a point in the story at the beginning where he says, he should have, making this decision and not engaging with his family. So Marcus clearly made some decision. So the idea I'm getting is that the apocalypse is happening. People are dying in maybe a horrible way, and Marcus decided that he was just gonna kill himself and his family together instead of leaving them at the mercy of whatever is killing everybody.
Says that he had been working on adopting mindful practices into his routine and thought this might be a good strategy for him to dissociate from the current hell they were facing. He couldn't believe that they would all be dead that evening.
Yeah. So to me, it seems kind of like a necessary suicide murder.
Or as I was reading this, you've seen Don't Look Up.
Is that the one where everybody has to be blindfolded?
No, it's the one that it's actually highly satirical.
Oh, okay.
But it's there's an asteroid on its way to Earth, and Like this actually reminded me of the last scene. I say the last notable scene in Don't Look Up. I will not spoil that movie. I think that movie is an absolute gem, a real delight.
It already sounds hilarious.
It's wonderful.
Is it really funny?
But it really is.
Okay.
It's a scream.
Okay.
I was not prepared for it to be as funny as it was, but that last scene
awesome.
really is not funny.
Oh.
And that's what this reminded me of. It has all that weight and that gravitas of this impending doom. And that really did come through here.
Yeah.
Especially like you can tell that like Marcus looked over at Jake and felt proud of this man his son would never have the chance to be.
Yeah.
Like whatever is happening, it's not just happening to them, because we get signs that this is happening all around them as well. So it's like there is some impending doom looming over everybody.
Right. I also get the feeling that Marcus is a very cynical character, and he's like, whenever his daughter is like trying to be optimistic, he's like, "Shut up, bitch."
Wait, where?
Well, he doesn't actually say that, but Ellie's like, "Do you think they might change their mind?" He's like, "No, Ellie, it seemed pretty clear that it was done already," retorted Marcus. But then whenever his son, what is his son's name again? Jake, yeah. When Jake sides with his dad and is like, "Yeah, Ellie, the newscaster said," Marcus is like, "I'm so proud of you, son." That really struck me.
Well, I guess to Marcus's credit, do you think that they might change their mind? Ellie asked. "No, Ellie, it seemed pretty clear that it was done already," retorted Marcus. Immediately following that, Marcus felt a surge of frustration within himself. Like he recognized that that's not really fair. And he does go on to explain, why didn't he just lie to make Ellie feel better? That's true. Why couldn't he just delay her fears until it didn't matter anymore? So it's like he couldn't help but be honest. It's like a character trait, or like you can't even necessarily call it a flaw, because it is just honesty, and it's pointing to a larger piece of the story as well. It's like whatever is happening has nothing to do with any choices that this family made. Right. It's all things that were made external to them.
Yes. But it's his automatic reactions to the two kids' responses, which makes kind of like paints a picture of him as a character. He's automatically irritated by Ellie trying to find some way out. And he's that's my reading of it. And he's automatically proud of his son for being like, "Yeah, there's no way out."
That's not the commentary I got out of it. Because the frustration wasn't at Ellie. The frustration was within himself. It was at himself, directed towards himself. And it was merely because she just happened to ask a question that he answered honestly, and he was frustrated that he couldn't just lie to make her feel better. So it's like he wants them to feel better, but was incapable of doing that for his daughter at that moment. So respectfully disagree. Yes. How could our leaders do this to us? Marcus wondered silently. And I suppose right there, when somebody is thinking to themselves or wondering silently in this case, and from a technical standpoint, should there be quotations? There's a few times whenever I see that, and I feel like it might be worth bringing up here.
I think that there should be italics in those cases.
Italicize.
Yes, not quotations.
Because every time I read quotations, I immediately assume that that's allowed. And I think that's correct.
I think it should be italicized.
Okay. So there you go. There you have it.
Yeah.
Because there was a few times that came up this week, and I was curious what the appropriate way to, I guess, demarcate what.
Yeah. Well, I think it depends on what style guide you're using.
Chicago.
I'm thinking more APA,
okay,
but fine. I mean, I think that in like novels and things like that, I usually see it in italics.
I feel like I've also seen it with there's nothing to indicate that this is a thought going through their head until you get some sort of tag. Because so much, especially in like a close third person, so much of what you get is internal thinking that to italicize it would be unnecessary or overwhelming, to the point where most of the text would be just italicized because it's internal.
Yeah.
to the character.
I wish that we had a hand symbol for italics like we have for quotation marks.
We could just do, oh, right. This is a podcast. We can't see anything.
We could just do like your hand, 2 hands to the side. Well,
Yeah.
the reason that I wish that is because you know how we say, I was like this, and I was like, hey, and he was like, what's up? And I was like, you know, in order to say I said, but we also use it in order to say I thought. So we're like, so I could be talking about someone saying something to me and me being like, I was like, shut the hell up. But I didn't actually say that. And then after I was like, shut the hell up, whoever I'm talking to was like, wait, you said that? And I'm like, no, I just thought it. Like, there's no way to distinguish between, you know, because we use the same verb, I was like, and to say that we said or thought something. And it's confusing. So I wish that we had a
nonverbal means of communicating that
italics.
I didn't say this out loud.
Yes,
I merely
was
thought
like,
it.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. You can't see it, but Rachel's holding both of her hands up and like angled to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
We'll start it.
Let's start it.
It'll catch on.
Hey, listeners, will you start this with us? Please. Please.
But yeah, this story is very dark. The direction that it goes, Marcus knew better than to investigate the noise. We assume it's a gunshot.
Mm-hmm. And also, I'm interested to know how they are going to die, because the very last line says, "At least they were not going to suffer."
Which makes me think like this may be like an asteroid strike, or it. And the first thing that I went through my head was nuclear disaster.
Well, but that would take away the Marcus made a choice without consulting his family. Like, what choice did he make?
Well, I think the choice wasn't anything relating to their fate. I think his choice was something more in relating to their fate. It's something more mundane than that. Marcus didn't say anything about it because given the circumstances, it really didn't fucking matter.
Yeah, but what I got from that is just like, they're going to die either way. So
right.
The thing that I'm getting from it is that Marcus decided to end their suffering rather than wait around and die at the hands of whatever is killing everybody. And then I wonder if the music box had something to do with their chosen demise. Because at the very end, Ellie pulled out her music box and turned the key. And the sound was joined by the chorus of sniffles and muffled cries of the family as they embraced one another in their final moments. So to me, it's like the music box, the playing of the music box somehow signifies the beginning of their end. Yeah.
If nothing else, I take the same meaning, if not more, that it is directly involved in their death and or group suicide.
Yeah.
Then it is just symbolic of this event. Like
that's what I'm saying. I think that the music box is somehow bringing about their demise. Interesting.
Yeah, I hadn't read it that way, but yeah, nothing is entirely clear as far as what's happening. It's clear that it's a devastating scene.
Yes, it's very sad.
That was not lost on me in any way. And I kept trying to rack my head. This reminds me of some other story or author. And I kept coming back. I don't know why, but White Noise by Don DeLillo.
Okay.
I have nothing to back it up. I read it like, oh God, it was like 15 years ago now.
I'm going to draw a more pop culture parallel and say that it reminded me of Titanic, where the old couple was like spooning in their bed, knowing that they were about to die. And then the mom was like tucking her kids in because they knew that they were trapped in the bottom of the ship and about to die. You know, that's kind of what it reminded me of, which is very, very heartbreaking.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This tugged at my heartstrings.
It really did. And it is a well-written story.
Very well written.
Very well written.
Very, very sad.
Very sad.
And mysterious.
Yeah. It doesn't give away too much.
No.
Thank you, Key Slapper.
Thank you, Key Slapper.
Thank you, Key Slapper. Key Slapper.
Slapper.
Slapper of
Key
keys.
Slapper.
Key Slapper.
It's the one that slaps keys.
He slaps keys.
Yep.
Yeah.
They
Sorry, you're right.
slap keys.
Slap keys.
Are you saying that a key slapper cannot be anything besides a male? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Wow.
Moving on.
Okay.
Thank you, Key Slapper.
Yes, thank you, Key Slapper. All right.
Next is The Silver Scream by Ace of Sword.
Yes.
Okay, so
yeah.
This one, off the top, your names are dope.
They're so dope.
They are so cool.
So dope.
Just to kick us off with Kraken and Soap.
Yep.
Soap.
Yes.
Why is that such a cool
It is
name?
amazing. I want to say that I love the dialogue here.
Yes.
This was very, very engaging dialogue for me. I loved it. And as far as the names, Kraken, that is what I call my cats. I call them Krakens.
Krakens.
So
okay.
I really liked that. And I love the fact, I'm sorry if it seems that I'm harping on this, but I love the fact that Kraken is a female.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole action sequence, it moves so fluidly.
Yes.
And the dialogue is right there alongside with it.
It was great.
This was an excellent story.
So good.
Ace of Sword run with this story.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much promise with this.
Yeah.
I enjoyed every sentence of this.
Mm-hmm.
I just highlighted a couple things. Can you fucking imagine months of decrepit old mansions and we get contact in a barely dusty movie theater with multicolor carpeting and neon signs. Such a great description and an interesting scene. It's such a unique setting.
Yes.
And considering like what we're kind of assuming our characters are doing.
Yes.
It's so unique. The whole thing just right out the gate was very unique.
Yeah. And it again seems kind of post-apocalyptical. Wait.
Yeah. Apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Apocalyptical.
Elliptical.
Elliptical apocalypse.
Apocalyptic. Okay. It seems a post-apocalyptic also, or they're like traveling between dimensions or something.
Yeah, and they keep referring why? Because this place is from the 80s?
Yeah.
It's like something happened maybe in the 80s?
Yeah.
I don't know. The timing was kind of tricky to piece it all together.
Could be time travel.
It could be time travel, yeah. It would go well with the aesthetic. Drawing a bunch of nostalgic fans, he argued back. Yeah, the dialogue, it just moves so fluidly.
Yes.
Now you're just making up words, grumbled Soap. Yeah. Liminal? Nah. I actually really liked that exchange. Soap arguing that Kraken made up the word liminal, and
yes.
he actually comes back with an explanation of liminal. I like that for two reasons. It characterizes Kraken as the smart one.
Yes.
And kind.
Yes.
Yes. She goes on to explain to Soap what liminal is, and just kind of through that little bit of dialogue, it characterizes them both.
Yeah.
I just thought that was great.
Great interaction.
Yeah. I wrote that words can be a form of gatekeeping, and this is doing the opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like not just being like, I'm the holder of the knowledge, but like sharing the knowledge.
Yeah, it reminds me of the literature workshop from last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and how exclusive it was and
yes.
Exclusionary.
The literature workshop.
The literature workshop.
Yes.
So this is essentially doing the exact opposite of what they were going for in that story.
Yeah.
So yeah, very... Just again, back to
this
that
one
dialogue.
definitely kept my attention. I was like excited, like what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? And just the dialogue was just like very fluid.
And then we just move in through this whole action sequence. It was just another empty auditorium, except for the movie being projected on the screen. Not a movie from the 80s, some older creature feature film in black and white, where an actress was screaming her head off being chased by a monster. That was just perfect stage dressing for our characters, and we assume that no one would be expecting that this movie would be playing.
Yeah.
It seems like it should be deserted. Nothing should be playing.
Right. Because they're like, well, something must have caused that movie to start.
Yeah. Yeah. And
that thing didn't play itself.
Yeah. So it just cast this whole eerie light over everything. Not that it was necessarily not creepy, but it seemed a little bit more like in control.
Yeah, it seemed like they were doing something that they're really good at doing, and they know what they're doing.
And then to just finish it all off with the uncomfortable pair of beats when 2 don't check in, or 4 of them don't check in.
Yes.
I had actually done a head count at the start. It's like, okay, we're getting all these names. So count. We've got, I think, it's 8, I think, people, and 4 don't check in. Turtle and Scratch, Blackjack and Doodle, Dove and Casper. I think, yeah. So we're missing half of our introduced agents.
What happened to them?
Well, they were the ones guarding the eggheads, I believe. So whatever the eggheads were looking for, now the eggheads not only don't have what they were looking for, but they also are now missing.
Yes.
So, I want more of this.
I want more. I feel like you, Ace of Sword, I feel like you set it up for a continuation here. So don't let us down. Don't let me down.
Great work, Ace of Sword. Thank you. Thank you for submitting The Silver Scream.
Yes.
I really do hope we see more from this. That'd be a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun to read. So
it
thank
really
you.
was.
Thank you. And next is Music in His Head by Steve Livingroom.
Yes. Okay.
So right out of the gate, this has some pretty problematic language in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that though.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
It seems like Steve Livingroom is good with a parable.
Yes.
Yeah, this is another teaching moment here.
It is very parabolic.
Does that apply?
If it's a parable, yeah.
I always thought that was just a mathematical term.
I never even heard it as a math term.
No? A parabola? Parabolic?
I don't do math.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'd never crossed my mind that those might be related, a parable and a parabola.
I don't know what a parabola is, but I know what a parable is.
Okay.
Oh, look, I just looked it up, and it is both. Parabolic, meaning number 1, of or like a parabola, or part of one. And then meaning number 2 is of or expressed in parables.
Parabolic.
So it's both.
Fascinating. We learned today.
We both learned a new meaning.
We attempted to high five, but we're too far apart. It didn't work.
Far away.
Okay. This parable could easily be construed as offensive.
Could.
I don't take it there, though.
I don't either, because I'm all about freedom of speech and reflecting reality.
Hell yeah, brother.
In literature.
Hell yeah, because if you're too afraid to talk about something, then it just becomes either stigmatized or God, what is that damn word? Taboo. God dang it. Yeah. So and then you just wrap this whole topic in taboo, and now nobody wants to talk about it.
Or it becomes communism where there's information control.
Right. Yes.
And you're not allowed to talk about things that actually happened. Like some societies that I will not name.
Yeah. And like some societies that will, ban books.
Right.
And things like that.
Like
who
books
would do that?
That have ideas that not everybody agrees with.
Who the fuck would do that?
Not us. Right?
No, not us.
We would never.
I don't know if you saw, but Stephen King found out that like 35 of his books are banned in Florida. And he literally just says, what the fuck? Like publicly.
Yeah.
He's like, this is not acceptable.
It's creepy.
It's horrifying.
Yes.
It's like
more horrifying than any Stephen King novel.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like banning Stephen King novels is more horrifying than Stephen
Than
King
anything
novels.
Stephen King could write.
Yes.
Yeah. That's nothing against Stephen King.
No.
It's everything
Against Florida man.
Florida.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man.
If you live in Florida, we have no shade against you.
No, I'm actually from Florida. Just joking.
Okay. I was like, wait. I was like, what the hell?
Okay,
You
wait.
never
My
told me
brother
that.
was born in Florida, so.
Oh, okay.
And I really like him.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Yeah.
He's a keeper.
He's a Florida man.
A Florida man.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
Steve, you very effectively get across this this character
Mhm.
of Dave and
Mhm.
Angel. Actually,
Mhm.
they both come across. They both come to life on the page here.
Mm-hmm.
And just the way Dave talks, I feel like I know somebody like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or I knew somebody like this at some point.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know anybody like that
I
anymore.
definitely know somebody like this. I
Like-
worked with somebody like this.
The language that
Yes.
Steve uses
Yes.
is right in line
Yes.
with this type of person.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually thought that Steve Living Room was my ex-coworker at first.
Because of how accurate this was
Yes.
describing this one person.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's uncanny. Like
Yeah.
you captured it
Mhm.
just dead to rights. It was perfect.
Yes.
I like that you don't shy away from this, and that you don't shy away from these hard topics.
Mm-hmm.
It is a good story, and it the way that it turns and the positive message that you leave us with and the growth of Dave.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that the growth seemed a little fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a little too quick. It might, like, it's a heartwarming message, but it would take more time than that. I think that a more not that it necessarily needs to be realistic, but I think it does, because you have Dave as a very realistic character. And so I think it might be important for him to behave realistically. In this instance where he's at community service, I think that showing a small amount of growth at the end would be more believable. But the fact that he changed so quickly, I think might impede the teachable moment here. But instead show that this is something that takes time and effort.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Such a 180 would definitely take some time.
Absolutely. He does say he gets 250 hours of community service. It seems like this happens like in like visit number 1. I mean, you could say some amount of time passed, and this is hour number 117 of community service, and that might be the tipping point for Dave, where he finally starts to see that he is beginning to change.
Yes.
He's beginning to grow.
He starts to feel his heart enlarging.
In a metaphorical way, not in an anatomical way. That's dangerous.
I'm thinking like in a Grinch-like way.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Well, yeah, because the Grinch stole Christmas and he feels his heart swelling because he feels
Right.
the love
And you
of
actually
the
see the size as it grows on the original cartoon. You see the actual measurement.
Oh, it has like a ruler?
I think so.
Oh.
Yeah, you see the actual scientific mathematical measurement.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, Doctor Who is well known for his science and mathematics.
Doctor Who?
Doctor Who.
You mean Dr. Seuss?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You good?
Yeah, Dr. Seuss.
Right.
Known for his science and mathematics.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, Steve, thanks for bringing this one to us.
Yes, thank you, Steve. That was lovely.
It was lovely. And next up today is The Echo of Guilt by Mio Marsoy.
So what were your thoughts on this?
I read this all the way through and was captivated.
Okay.
I really was. I really did enjoy this.
Yeah.
It's entrancing. The way we get this description of Maya's effect on this police officer is so entrancing. Really is the right word, I think.
It is.
Like, and it does it to the reader as well.
Yeah.
It's not just us observing this entrancing act,
Right.
I guess. But it really is effective on us, the reader, as well, or at least it was for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like how the whole story, you think it's going a certain direction until the very end.
Yeah,
like
this is becoming like a calling card for Mio Mersoy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It seems that okay, I realized why I was saying he. It's because his
little profile
little
picture
avatar has a big old beard.
A big old fluffy head.
A big old fluffy head.
And a cricket bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both fascinated by you, Mio Mersoy. We're trying to figure out. So
yes,
anyway.
and it's like, okay, Mio Mersoy seems to lead the reader down a certain path and make the reader think that they're reading about one thing, and at the very end they pull the rug right out from under you.
Yeah,
But,
and this time it's not satirical,
right?
It's just tragic.
Yeah,
because you have this absolutely gorgeous woman, clearly a powerful woman, intelligent woman, an important person, and ends with a tragedy.
Yeah,
like just a car accident.
Right.
And it's something that could have been prevented by our point of view character here. Do we get a name?
Max.
Yes. If Max had merely done his job.
Yeah.
That's the read that I get off of it. It's it feels very straightforward.
Yeah.
I almost wanted to not necessarily assign it a different meaning, but maybe this could be it's the title, The Echo of Guilt. Like maybe this is a memory of this accident.
Could be.
I don't really have anything to back that up other than the title. But the shrill sound of the patrol car sirens managed to capture Mai's attention. There were no cars crossing the intersection, but Officer Max was always prowling the area. So I really don't have anything to back it up that it may be a memory or a dream other than the title.
Is it possible that the echo refers to the ringtone, the creepy ringtone, which Max first hears when he pulls her over and then hears again over the intercom at the scene of the accident?
That's probably right. Yeah. That makes more sense. And I hadn't considered the ringtone as the echo.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess I'm curious about the title itself, but just in general, beautiful writing.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful writing.
Yeah.
He smiled as he finally spoke in a masculine tone. He did it with a taste of triumph.
Yeah.
He wanted to show that he held the reins at that moment.
Yeah.
Be careful, ma'am. Next time I won't be so generous. You can be sure I'll remember your face and your words. And upon a reread, knowing what happens.
Yeah.
So effective.
Yes.
And at the time, it's like you said, it's leading you one way. And whenever you read that line, you're like, okay, Max.
Right.
Yeah, okay, you be the big man.
Yeah.
You be that big man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, be sure I'll remember your face and your words. And by damn, you will.
Yes.
You absolutely will.
For the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part really was compelling to me because I could really see Max. Like, it's almost like, I don't know, it's almost like self-deprecating, only the writer is not Max, you know?
Yeah.
But it's almost just like, I thought if the writer were Max, it's like, I thought I was being all masculine and manly.
Yeah.
You know? And like I have control, like I have the reins. And then, well, in the end, I fucked up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. In a way that you wouldn't necessarily think of as a fuck up. You might consider this a courtesy, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, it's not.
Absolutely.
It's not. You should have done your job.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a conflicting story. It really is. It's bringing in a lot of strange conflict.
And whenever he's like, when she leaves, she drives off and Max is like, she's a lawyer, he reminded himself. I thought that it was about to go into some like fantasizing about her or something like, she's a lawyer, that's so hot.
Or like, no, she's a lawyer, I'm a cop, it could never work, you know?
Yeah, or something about the romantic interaction. But what sticks with Max is not the romantic interaction, but is the conflict of conscience that he's having.
Yeah.
Like, should I have let her go? Maybe I shouldn't have. No.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's not the conflict that you expect.
Mm-hmm.
Or if we even really expected conflict.
Yeah.
Because it's almost setting up to be like a romance.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's what I thought it was going to be the whole time.
But nope. It's a tragedy.
Nope.
It's a tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One last line that I really liked. The strange aroma was enticing perfume mixed with her feminine fragrance. The perfect chemistry to seduce any man.
Mm-hmm.
A smile from Maya was enough for the alcohol on her breath to reach the officer, but even so, his only instinct was to kiss her.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great line.
Yes.
Oh, man. And Miomer Soy, I don't know if you write romance novels, but that would sell.
Hey, write you some smut, Miomer Soy.
Yeah, but no, seriously, that's some very good writing.
Yeah. And I also liked the idea of the possibility that I myself could have alcohol on my breath and a guy still just want to kiss me.
Yeah.
Not care about the alcohol, you know?
It's like, you smell like the neck of a Svedka bottle.
You smell, but I still want to kiss you.
Yeah. She got to be purty.
She must be so purty.
She must be so purty. Plus that perfume, that's nice perfume.
That's right.
Yeah, it's real good.
That's right, with them pheromones.
All them pheromones. Miomer Soy, excellent writing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for submitting this to us.
Yes.
And please keep them coming.
Thank you,
if for no other reason to make sure that Rachel will always be tantalized by your secret identity or whoever you are.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
or if you really exist.
Maybe they're just AI.
AI.
Yeah. That would be upsetting. We're sitting here just glowing.
Yes.
Oh God.
It's like whenever
they got us.
It's like whenever we're playing Cards Against Humanity and the rando wins. You know, the game that we play.
Yes, I'm trying to figure out what your question is.
No, that's what it's like if it were AI this whole time.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And rando, and we're all like laughing. And we're like, that was so good. Okay, whose card was that? Whose card was that?
Nobody's.
Oh, it was Rando. Damn you, Rando. You made a fool of all of us.
How dare you, Rando?
How could you?
All right. Before we spiral too far down Cards Against Humanity, our next and final story is by Excalibur.
Excalibur.
And we have a poem here again.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm just going to go ahead and read it.
Yeah.
Just get it out of the gate here. So untitled poem by Excalibur.
Mm-hmm.
On garden guarding prickled greenery, the corpse chooser cheerfully caws, a boisterous and boastful unlucky bird, restlessly reciting hopeless results. Above failing fields and unearned finery, the corpse gulper callously glides, a prideful and preening aerial patrol, picking at the wake of a waning planter. In a hall hoarded with bloody honors, the corpse troll ceaselessly torments, as former friends circle fearfully, feeding flames their delayed feast. It's interesting.
It is.
I really like the first stanza.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that.
Yes.
On garden guarding prickled greenery.
Yes. I really liked it.
I did too.
I love this style. It's just, to me, it's kind of old school, like classic.
As far as like the poetry style? Yeah. Yeah, and it's very classic. Very closely metered too.
Yeah. And I just really, I have a soft spot for that kind of poetry.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I adore this first stanza.
Mm-hmm.
I just and I suppose to try and dive into analysis, which frankly I don't know why, but I really don't necessarily enjoy analyzing poetry because I feel like it can be very personal to whoever is reading it, and I think that that's kind of the point a lot of times is to draw your meaning out of it.
Yeah.
But for the sake of it, on this first one, on Garden Guarding Prickled Greenery, the corpse chooser cheerfully caws. That made me think of a shrike. You know what a shrike is?
No.
It's a bird that will impale like small like lizards or bugs or things onto cacti and save them for later.
Oh, that is so fucked up.
It's a little fucked up, but again, it's nature. Like on garden guarding prickled greenery. That prickled greenery being a cactus.
Yeah.
The corpse chooser cheerfully caws being a bird. Corpse chooser being like that. That's what led me to the shrike.
Wow.
Fascinating birds. And really not as big as you would think. Like they're not terribly large birds,
but very sadistic.
A little bit, a little bit, but again, it's nature.
Yeah. That's nature, baby.
In the next stanza, above failing fields and unearned finery, the corpse gulper callously glides. That makes me think more of like vulture or some sort of carrion bird.
I guess. Well, I know that's definitely where my mind went, was to like a vulture or an eagle or something.
Yeah. And if I kind of follow my own pattern, shrike in the first stanza, vulture, carrion in the second stanza, in a hall hoarded with bloody honors, the corpse troll carelessly torments. This one, I actually can't assign anything to it.
Well, what is it called? Shrike?
A shrike.
Shrike. I was conflating the Shrike with the character from Lord of the Rings. Striker. No, his name is Strider.
Sorry.
Aragorn,
son of Arathorn.
Yes. Anyway, but in the third stanza, it seems to signify. Fuck, I can't think of words. It seems to imply a shrike because it's a hall hoarded with bloody honors. So it's like it has all these different corpses to choose. Or what? I hope that these animals that are impaled die before they get eaten.
I mean, look up a shrike.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
But anyway, of the different, it could choose between its, victim.
Yeah. So maybe I'm misreading the second one, and this is all just in reference to a shrike. But again, that's in a hall hoarded with bloody honors. Yeah, that actually could just draw straight back to the shrike. So, but just in general,
wow, the shrike is adorable.
Yeah, it's a cute bird,
and it's known as the butcher bird.
Yeah, yeah. You'd never know just looking at it.
No, I would snuggle this bird.
But it is it's like. Clearly, it's a very smart bird that it can use cacti to. Birds are smart. They are smart. Oh, like crows and ravens. Yeah. Like, that's wild. But even just in general, yeah, birds are very clever. Seagulls. Yeah, seagulls. Yeah, speaking of carrion. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, God. You making fun of me? No, I was making fun of us because we seem very disheveled, bedraggled, and disheveled. We really, we did. I think we did just okay on this episode. Yeah, it was, it's been a long day, guys. It's been a long one. I'm very sorry that we may not have done quite the justice that we hold the standards that we hold ourselves to here. I, on the other hand, am not sorry. Well, because I want you listeners to see all sides of us. Yeah. The good, the bad, and the especially ugly. Right. I want you to see us at our worst and still love us. Yeah. Or not. That's fine too. Or still hate us, whatever. Yeah. However you feel. Just don't forget us. Just don't forget us. Me. All right. That's all our stories for this week. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So shout out to RichiePozier. Thank you for your story and for being selected here today. That was a really good one. Again, really liked that dialogue. Excellent. And for shout out to Walker by Faith. Successful Read 6361. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, welcome. Yeah, and excited to see what else you can bring to us. Nathaniel McLean, thanks for coming back. And Nick, to you. key slapper, slapper of keys, key slapper.
Yeah. Or how do you, what, key slap? Yeah. Slap, one that slaps keys.
One who slaps keys.
Yes.
Yes. Welcome.
Welcome, key slapper.
Welcome, key slapper. Ace of Sword and Steve Living Room.
Yeah.
Mio Mersoy.
Yes.
And all of your enigma.
Right.
And Excalibur.
Yes.
What are you giggling at?
I was just giggling at the cricket bat.
Oh. All right. And shout out to everybody who left comments. Successful Read, Walker by Faith, Nick You, Nathaniel McLean, Key Slapper, RichiePozier, Steve Living Room, Ace of Sword, Excalibur. Like, thanks, guys.
Wasn't that everybody?
I think that might have just been everybody.
Except for
Mio Mersoy.
Wow.
Where you at?
Yeah.
Where you
Why
at?
You gotta hide and be a mystery like that?
What you doing out there?
Yeah.
We're just interrogating this person. We have no idea who it is.
Well, this person is being a creeper.
That's not true, Mio Mersoy. We really appreciate you submitting your stories.
We do.
It is not creepy.
But I do find it a little bit creepy.
I find it very intriguing.
Okay.
So on to episode 6. What's our prompt?
Our prompt for episode 6 is it is a throwback to our first prompt.
Yeah. So it's a very, very simple prompt. So our first episode, we asked ourselves to write a detective story.
We asked ourselves if we could find it within ourselves.
Maybe we asked each other. Maybe we demanded of each other.
Yeah.
Write a detective story.
Yeah.
Okay, so but in this case, rather than a detective story, we would like you to write a rivalry story. Story of a rivalry.
Story which depicts a rivalry.
Yeah. So also, I suppose we need some words here.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the words for next week are rob, rotate, bland, memory, and defeat. You got a definition for rob?
I do. It's funny because when I first saw that list of words, I didn't realize it was a list of words because there are no commas and it started with the word Rob, which I thought was a name.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it is a name.
Rob could be a name.
It could.
Short for Robert.
Well, I mean, any of these could be names. I mean, shoot, we had a character named Soap.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Any of these could be names.
True. Very true.
God, such a good name.
Yeah. I love that. It reminds me of a horse named, what's that horse's name? Napkin.
What?
Oh, actually, I just remembered that was something that somebody at my high school wrote. Never mind.
Which was like last week, right?
Right. I just graduated. Okay, so anyway, rob usually means to steal.
Yeah.
But not exactly, because you can rob a store, but it doesn't mean the same as steal a store.
Right.
Because steal a store is to take the whole thing, but rob means you just take things from it.
Correct. Yeah.
And rob
rotate
can be...
Oh, sorry. I thought we were moving on.
No. The person who does the robbing is called a robber, but the person who does the stealing is not called a stealer. They're called a thief. Okay, next, we've got rotate.
Rotate.
I have always loved this word.
For why?
I just think it's really funny. I don't know why.
Like a rotating apparatus.
Yeah, just something or someone rotating.
Rotate.
And sometimes whenever I'm playing Simon Says with my students, I will tell them Simon Says rotate. It's really funny.
What is it?
Because they don't know what I'm talking about.
Do you? Does anyone?
Not really.
Yeah.
But I'm imagining a rotisserie.
Oh, okay. A rotisserie. So to spin in the well, I guess it has to
spin
do
slowly on a stick.
on an axis.
Right.
Yeah. To to spin around an axis.
Slowly.
Must it be slowly?
No.
No. Okay. It is getting too late. Bland.
Sorry.
Bland.
I'm sorry. Bland. Bland can be, well, a flavor that has no taste.
Or an absence of a flavor. Yeah.
Right.
It could be a flavor that is nothing.
A flavor that has no flavor. Okay. But it's an adjective, so never mind. It cannot be a flavor or an absence because it's a noun. It's an adjective. Bland. It can describe something with no taste, whether that be literal, as in food, or whether that be a person who has no personality.
Yeah.
Or a bland.
Ugh, just, bland. Needs salt.
We look disgusted, by the way.
Yeah, just
right now.
blech.
Yeah.
All right. Memory.
Yes. Okay. Memory means it's a noun, and it means the thing in your head.
Not your brain.
No. The thing which goes into your brain.
The things in your brain.
A thing in your brain, which,
I would say it's an experience that you recollect.
Right.
I feel like the recollection is crucial for the word memory, because if you cannot recall it, it is not really a memory. Although I guess they can be suppressed memories.
They can be suppressed, but it's actually just a echo of something which has occurred.
Like maybe guilt.
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly.
Did you hear what we did there, Mio Mersoy?
That one's for you.
That one's for you, boo.
Mm-hmm. And defeat.
Defeat. Conquer. It can be a noun or a verb.
Okay.
You could suffer a defeat, in which case it's a noun, or you can defeat someone, in which case it's a verb.
Correct. To overcome your opponent.
Yeah. Vanquish.
Well, a defeat, imagine like a sport. So you don't necessarily vanquish the other team.
You might not.
You merely surpass them.
I feel like vanquish could work there.
Vanquish?
Yes.
Right. Okay, so Rachel plays roller derby.
Yes.
So in this case, she does vanquish
I
her
try
opponents.
to vanquish my opponents.
Yeah.
I, with the help, of course, of my team. Not I, my team. We try to vanquish opponents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Those words again: rob, rotate, bland, memory, and defeat.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So if you want to be like these wonderful writers and submit your story to You Write, head on over to our subreddit at reddit.com/r/youwritepod.
If you're unable to submit a story this week, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You can help out by reading and commenting on other people's stories.
Each time you post a story or leave a comment on someone else's submission, you increase your chances of having your story read on the podcast.
You can also reach us and submit your story to youwritepod@gmail.com if you are, averse to the Reddits for whatever reason, which, I guess I get that.
I do.
Yeah.
For sure.
But so far, the best place to go for sure is the Reddits.
Yes. And if you like our show and want to help support us, consider donating to our Patreon at patreon.com/youwrite.
If you're unable to donate, that's fine. You can help us by sharing the podcast with other writers and non-writers alike. Are we entertaining?
I think so.
Are you entertained?
I am ridiculously entertained.
Are you not entertained?
No, I am entertained.
Oh, okay.
Are you not entertained?
Oh, I'm entertained.
Okay.
Constantly. Every second that we're recording this, I'm entertained.
Same. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you know as soon as new episodes are available.
Also, be sure to leave us a rating and a review in your podcatcher of choice. Those reviews really do help, guys. So we would really appreciate it. I'm still just sitting at the 5 stars, which I still think that we're vastly overrated.
Right.
So
true.
But I do appreciate that. But some reviews go a long way too. So
yeah. Help us out.
Yeah. We will be reading one review on the podcast. So get creative. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And remember, join us next week on You Write,
a podcast where you write. See y'all next week.
So long, farewell. Is that a copyright infringement?